believe we are streaming right now. Shoot, I gotta take a poopy.
Well, I'm not sure where it's gotten off to, but we'll just have to deal without it for now, and I'm gonna have to buy myself a lamp.
That's fine. We don't desperately need it. Okay, so we are streaming already. I'm gonna go to the. There we go. Jumping into it. Less flaws every
Cheers.
time. Cheers, buddy.
Oh, you drinking a Corona as well?
Yeah, I am. Oh, you got it like the classic one or whatever.
It's Corona Familiar.
I'm familiar.
So yeah, let's jump into it.
Okay. Alrighty.
So podcast live stream number 3.
Yes. Yeah, I gotta upload number 2 to YouTube still. I didn't get a chance to do that yet. This week has been busy ever since I started doing.
Same with me.
Many of these TikTok videos and stuff. It's been tough trying to coordinate everything, get everything done. Especially since I guess now is probably a proper time to explain the slight change in theme that we're doing here with the podcast, which is kind of an exploration of,
or rather than change in theme, how about addition of a theme?
Yeah, true. Yeah, we were just mindlessly ranting about whatever the fuck we wanted to talk about for a while.
While getting drunk and high.
Yes, we now have. Oh shoot, high. That's something that I have yet to do, unfortunately.
We'll work on that. I haven't gotten high yet today either, but.
Yes, but we decided to, since you are somebody who exists in kind of the food world, wine more specifically, and I'm somebody who does music for a living. How can we kind of tie that all together? So we decided to make each episode kind of an exploration of food, music, and film. Essentially each week we pick a movie that we're gonna watch. We're both gonna watch. We pick a recipe that we're both gonna do. We're gonna create that recipe and do our own little take on it, and then compare and contrast on here. I've not seen any of the videos that you sent me regarding that, and you obviously haven't seen any of mine since I did not send them to you. And then also an album that we're gonna listen to. We're gonna try to make these movies that are newer, at least for the beginning of it, so that we're kind of working to stay current with things. But yeah, so this week's. Go ahead. You want to tell?
Although this week we did watch 2 movies,
yes.
Given the theme. Today we're going to talk about the movie Mank, which is starring Gary Oldman as Herman Mankiewicz, who was the main.
I just finished it.
I didn't actually finish it.
What? Oh, you didn't? Oh, damn it! I have
seen. I have seen more than half of it. I know. I'm doing this birthday meal for myself tonight, which is.
Yeah. So when is your birthday?
And my brother's visiting.
For forgetting.
It's in 20 days.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I thought it was the 21st.
But my brother's visiting from the East Coast, he's a cook out there, and he's planning to move out here. But since he's here in town for the week, we thought we'd do a dinner for my birthday to celebrate. So that's happening tonight, and so we've been very busy. I did watch Citizen Kane, however, this week. I did listen to the album more than once, and I also had made the recipe, and I actually used the leftovers last night to make a meal today with, which was fun. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So. So the album this week was an album by the name of That's Life.
Yes.
By Willie Nelson. It was his 71st studio album, and That's Life is a nod to a song by Frank Sinatra called That's Life.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't realize the whole thing was going to be Frank Sinatra covers. But
neither did I. I had no clue going in. I knew I knew it was a tribute to Frank Sinatra. So he just released this album on Friday, and I gotta say, I mean, for a man as old as he is
Yeah,
to have
dude.
released
86
71
years
to two
old.
albums, he sounded pretty good. Although he did also sound like a corpse singing.
Yeah, I thought the first song was a little rough. But it kind of he
Yeah, I
kind of
was
got
like,
into
it's
the swing of things there with some of the later tracks. But I
yeah.
listened to
I
that
mean,
today as well. Actually, I was kind of last minute with everything. I gotta, like I said, I gotta get back better in creating a schedule for everything I got going on
yeah,
here.
as do I. As do I. I mean, I was really on top of the album and watching Citizen Kane as a prerequisite to Mank this week. And the meal, of course, I made yesterday, which was a little last minute, but things turned out really well. So yeah, this week's album was "That's Life" by um, Willie Nelson. This movie Mank, starring Gary Oldman, Netflix original film, which was about one of the writers of Citizen Kane, which was, of course, one of the most influential movies of all time,
Yeah.
in terms of directing, writing, things like that, and also starring and directed by Orson Welles. Now,
Yes.
um, the dish we decided to do was a traditional dish, given that both of our other items this week were sort of a throwback. One was a old artist giving a nod to Frank Sinatra. One was a movie about a very old movie. So we did a traditional French dish called coq au vin. Now that means
Alvin.
rooster with wine.
Where's it, Vaughn?
Vin.
Is it?
Vin. It's how you pronounce it in French.
Oh.
Ask my French friends, they would say VIN would be vin. You
Vaughn.
barely even say.
Coq au
It's
vin.
almost like you don't even say a consonant at the end. It's like you just like switch your pronunciation from your throat to your nose. You're like vin.
Vaughn.
Yeah, it's pretty sure. I mean, they might critique me on that, but traditional. It means rooster with wine, basically, and it's a traditional French dish. And we each took a shot at it, and I suggested pairing a French Pinot Noir with it. Um, so yeah, what should we talk about first?
Uh, I mean we kind of covered the album. There was I didn't think there was a whole lot to talk about there, given that it was all covers.
Fresh open beer.
Um,
Yeah, I know. I expected. I mean,
I thought it
the
was
one
going to
thing
be
I did
original
like
music.
about the album,
Good.
one thing I did like about, I mean, when you hear Sinatra's versions of the songs, his are a little bit more done up.
Yeah.
And with this Willie Nelson album, yes, there are Sinatra covers, but I really got the sense that I was in like a small, dimly lit club hearing an old man perform these, because it was very heavy on just the stand up, the upright bass, um, a drummer, and some piano sometimes, basically. And I got the feel that I was in a small club just watching somebody
Kind
perform,
of a desirable
a late night
feeling
dinner club.
for this time
Yeah.
to want to be out seeing a performer do his thing. Unfortunate
Which,
that we
believe it or not,
can't.
my brothers and I, when we were out shopping yesterday, we decided to stop at a brewery just because we saw you could dine in again. We stopped there, and there were tables outside, even though it was a beautiful day. We're like, no, we want to sit inside because you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we stopped there, had a few beers, had some snacks, and we were just all so excited to be able to do that.
Now what is that at? Is that like 20% capacity or something?
25%, I believe. But it seemed pretty full in there, so I don't really know.
Well, you guys had that at one point when I was out in Oregon.
We had 50%
Yeah.
capacity
Oh my God. You
at that
guys,
point.
you're practically normal. What a thing to take for granted.
Yeah, I know. Um, but yeah, so I mean, as given his age, I think Willie did a really good job,
Yeah.
to be
It was
honest.
charming.
Um, although, yeah, I would probably rather listen to the original Frank
Yep.
Sinatra versions of most of those songs.
Yep.
So I don't know what kind of replay value that has, but good on him
Yeah,
for
I
doing
mean,
it.
hell, 71st album.
71st album. So he's making more than 2 albums a year at that rate.
That's what I think he did. Last year he released 2 albums, and one of them
Well, there you go.
broke top 10, I believe. Maybe not. Maybe it was on number 53. I remember seeing those numbers when
Well,
reading a little bit, but
either way, he's still kicking and still grinding.
still kicking,
So
still smoking.
I hope he is. I mean, his voice certainly sounds like
Yeah, he definitely is. Yeah, my girlfriend's mom used to date a guy who smoked with Willie Nelson, I believe, or you would take pictures of
Really?
him and stuff at shows and took her to go see him. And I think he told me at one point that he actually smoked with Willie Nelson, which is like that's a bucket list type thing.
Oh, for sure. Especially since he doesn't have too many years left.
Well, yeah, yeah. As the time progresses,
It's like, I better get that done soon.
Yes. Yeah.
If I want to smoke with Willie Nelson. But all right, so let's talk about the meal that we made.
Let's do it. How long did it
So
take you?
how can I see? Hours. Took me hours. Started a little too late. Ended up not eating it until like 11:30 last night.
Fuck. How can I show you these clips?
Huh.
Can I send files via Discord?
Probably.
I don't even know how I would do that. All right.
You could show everyone that's watching it.
I could definitely do that. Okay, let's review your clips here. Couple of your clips. I might not play every one of these.
That's fine. I just kind of went through explaining what I was doing at each step.
Oh, okay. You did better than I did. I got, I think, two solid clips and then a couple pictures. Now, did you start with the whole chicken, or did you go like legs and thighs?
Yes. Started with a whole chicken. Only cooked the legs and thighs in the braise, though.
Oh, did you? Okay.
We broke down the chicken, put it into a stock, actually, which we use a little bit of in the braise, but for the most part, the braise was just the marinating liquid. We broke down the chicken, marinated the thighs and legs in wine with rosemary and curry leaf, or sorry, thyme and curry leaf, a little salt and pepper, and then we sautéed some bacon, or sorry, not even bacon, pork belly. I just got straight up pork belly, rendered out the fat, took the pork belly out, seared, or what do I want to say? Yeah, we seared the duck, then, or sorry, not duck. Seared the chicken in that pork fat. Seared the chicken in that pork fat, and then cooked the vegetables like the mushroom, carrots, shallot in the fat as well to caramelize them a little bit. Added some tomato paste, and then we threw in the marinating liquid, which was the wine with the spices in it. Leaving the chicken out. Keep saying duck because we made duck today.
Yeah.
And then we slow braised it for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Let it cook down, and then we removed the meat when we made sure it was nice and tender, and made a little roux with some butter and flour, and then put that in to thicken it up and reduce it a little bit longer, and then put the chicken back in, cooked it a little bit more, and then served it.
So you used tomato paste. I did not use tomato paste. You didn't use any kind of cognac?
Nope.
Okay, I think that was where
just red wine.
Ours was different. Was that yours had tomato paste? I had cognac.
Cool.
So that
Was that part of the? Did you marinate the chicken at all?
didn't. No. Now I started off. I cut a chicken into 8 pieces, and I used all of the chicken. Actually, the serving that I ate had one of the breasts. I wanted to eat one of the chicken breasts. cut it all up, and then I diced up some bacon and put it in the pot. Cooked that, dumped the bacon out, left the fat in there, and then I guess hold on a second here. Wait, yeah, I guess braised the chicken in the bacon fat, with a little salt and pepper on it, and then took that all out, put that with the bacon, threw in the carrots and onions, some of the onions, like the fresh onion slices, I put in there.
Okay.
Cooked that all up, threw in the garlic, cooked that all up, then put the chicken.
Oh, I also did not use garlic. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I put that all back in the pot. Put the chicken back in. Put the bacon in. Added red wine, cognac, and what else did I add to it?
Which, if you don't know what cognac is a brandy, which comes from Cognac, France, and brandy is a spirit which is made from distilling wine. Just so everybody
Gotcha.
knows. Continue, Aaron.
So I put that all in there. Fried up the mushrooms in a little side pan. Added them, and added a half pound of frozen little pearl onions.
Frozen pearl
Yes.
onions.
Yeah, Peter's watching now. That's what it said. This was Julia Child's recipe, so I
Interesting.
give her some credit. It came out pretty good.
I respect that. It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Cognac sounds like a fun thing to use in it. Honestly, I don't
Actually, that was.
I mean, I just
that
found
was what made it for me. Was because it added complexity to the broth, I guess. Oh yeah, and obviously added the chicken stock. I was gonna make my own chicken stock, but I was looking at the recipe, and it takes me longer to do a recipe for the first time than it says that it's gonna take me. Peter says the garage door is stuck and he can't open it.
Okay. It's not our problem, right?
It's not my problem. But yeah, so put that all together and then made the roux. Did that, put that in there, put it in the oven.
To thicken it up.
Actually, I don't think I added the mushrooms yet. I think I waited until after I brought it out of the oven, added the mushrooms, and then cooked it on the stove a little bit longer.
Cool. So yeah, I did mine completely on the stove.
It's Sam. Low down and dirty. He said, "This is Sam. We need this damn miso."
Oh. They have to open that garage door. Yeah, we need miso for the broth.
Okay.
Fuck.
Do you need to attend to that?
No, they'll be fine.
Okay.
I'm sure they'll figure it out. It's just something you probably should pull hard on.
Okay. Let me see here if I can bring up any of these clips. Oh, these are all vertical videos.
Now, I suggested we pair a Burgundy Pinot Noir with it. I know you did. You ended up finding a Louis Jadot Pinot Noir, which is relatively easy to find. So if anyone out there is looking for this Pinot Noir, it's relatively easy to find. Most grocery stores will carry it. Yeah. Louis Jadot is more of a conglomerate winery in Burgundy. They are more known for their Beaujolais. However, this specific was a Pinot Noir that came from Beaune, which is a part of Burgundy, good part. And how did you feel your wine went with the meal?
Good. I mean, I used half the bottle in the meal.
In the meal, yes. And that's a traditional thing to do, is if you're going to be pairing a meal with a wine and you're cooking with wine, you probably want to cook with the wine you're going to be drinking.
Yeah.
Which also helps, of course, with the pairing aspect of it, because you're getting those flavor profiles in the dish.
I'm not super versed on pairings, but it tasted fine. I was also drinking cognac throughout the whole process of cooking and with dinner.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. It was
what cognac did you get? I'm curious.
Courvoisier.
Oh, yeah, not bad.
Yes, the dude at the grocery store was very hype on me selecting that one. It's right next to
I
all the
mean,
different Hennessy options. And he saw me pick that one. He goes, "Oh,
of
great
course.
choice, great choice." And then like a lane opened up while we were waiting in line for another line, and or for another checkout place. And he, "Oh, you got good alcohol. We got to get you out of here fast." It's like, all right, whatever this does for me, I'm down.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's just we don't have that many options of good cognac in America, honestly. But out of like the top three, Remy Martin, Courvoisier, and Hennessy that you find pretty much everywhere, I like Courvoisier the
I
best
think
in
I do
terms
too.
of the affordable as in terms of the affordable options we
Yeah,
have.
it was very special. So I thought that was nice.
There was this VSOP Riversoir that my brother and I loved, but I've not been able to
Is that
find
what I
it
had picked up initially?
since.
The brandy?
Oh,
No.
no, no. This is something Sam and I found once at a liquor
Mm.
store, and we haven't been able to find since. But anyway, I was gonna go with a Burgundy Pinot when I was at this wine shop. It's a really fun wine shop called Division Wines in downtown Portland, on Division Street, and the guy there, he's great. He always hooks me up with great suggestions, and he just happened to come by when I was looking at the Pinots, and he was saying that I found a good one. It was a natural Pinot, a natural fermented Pinot, which is super light. I thought maybe it might be a little too fruity though for the dish we're making, since it's a heartier dish. And he pointed me towards an Alsatian Pinot, which I have never had a Pinot from Alsace. Which, if anyone knows anything about France, Alsace is on the far eastern border of France, the border between Germany and France. There's a river called the Rhine that runs right down there, and then the region surrounding that river is Alsace,
Hmm.
known for Riesling and Gewürztraminer, and it's mainly a German-style area. But they had a Pinot, and I've never had a Pinot from Alsace, so I gave it a shot, and it was pretty good. I liked the wine a lot. Really good acid, had some tension to it. It just, I think it was a little bit more fruit forward, uh, in terms of like tasting notes and profile, and rather than earthy, which I really think would have done the dish a little bit more justice had it been earthier as opposed to those light fruit notes. But
Yeah.
all in all, it
I think
worked
that the
with the
wine I
meal,
got
but
was
I
rather
think it could
earthy.
have been better.
Yeah.
Was it kind of worked just with the components of the dish a little
Yeah.
bit better?
Yeah, it
Probably.
worked really well. And that, like I said, that with the cognac and the chicken stock, that was a nice flavor profile. It was robust, but not overly any
I
one
like
thing.
that. I like that.
Not too wine
And that's the
tasting, not too chickeny, and but the cognac added like a woody flavor to it.
now that's good. It's good for me to hear.
I thought about doing
I'm
the tomato
excited for our
paste,
next.
adding some of that like last minute because I was texting you guys or texting I guess Sam about the tomato paste, and he said, "Yeah, I had tomato
Yeah.
paste," and I have it. I pulled it out of the cabinet, and I was like, do I want to fuck with the recipe at this point in time? Like I've never made this before, and I just chickened out of it. I think it was probably
Now,
the right thing to do too, is not adding that with
Yeah.
cognac in there.
It. You can also just play with that next time.
Yes, yeah.
I know, like when you add the tomato paste, like you want to have the vegetables in there, just cooking in a little bit of fat. Add the tomato paste and mix that in with the veggies. Just the tomato paste starts bubbling, and then put your excuse me, and then put your braising liquid in.
Yeah, I was already past that step when I was contemplating it. I was like, this is not the right step to do that properly, so I'm just not going to.
But yeah. So then today we had a lot. Like we ate the chicken that was braised in it last night, but we had all of that like sauce, and like it was almost like a hearty stew.
Yeah.
It tasted beefy, but we didn't have any beef in it. It was, I mean, it had some pork, red wine, and shiitake mushrooms. So that maybe that combo kind of just made a beef flavor. But we had a bunch of that sauce left with the vegetables and stuff in it. So we put that in the fridge. And then today, for a little lunch, we just threw that back in a saucepan, heated it up. I cooked 2 cups of rice, and then we seared some chicken breasts in a cast
Did you
iron.
say duck?
And then just put chicken today. It was leftover breast from last night that we didn't
okay.
use.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you said that.
Yes. Yeah. So, but today we are doing duck. But Not pertinent to the podcast right now.
Yeah, I still have a.
I can go into
I
that
still
then
have
if
a
people want to hear about it.
good amount of that left, actually. Good amount.
Which is
Yeah.
good. I mean, it was a good meal. I actually certainly enjoyed it, and I'm excited to try that recipe again and
It's
throw some
quite a
more twists on it.
time-consuming meal to make, so it's definitely like a weekend.
Yeah, we started way too
Did
late.
you?
We started way too late. We talked about it. We think it would have been much better had we let it reduce a lot longer
Yeah.
and just concentrate some of those flavors. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. My
But
original plan was I had to go back to the grocery store yesterday because I didn't have everything. The first time I went, I was just kind of like winging it, knowing some of the ingredients that I needed. Got the chicken, got the main stuff, and then I was looking at recipes yesterday morning. And I thought, oh well, shit, I need to go back because I need wine, I need some of the other minor things that I forgot about. And I said, well, I'm just gonna wait till later this afternoon. I'll go to the grocery store then and make it for dinner. And then around like 10:30, 11 a.m., I was like, fuck it, let's just go now. And then got back home around 1, and I was like, well, I'm just going to jump into this. And I'm glad I did because we ended up eating around dinner time. And it wasn't something that like was
yeah,
too late a meal. But that's
yeah.
a process to make all that.
But it was
Very
good.
good. Very good. That was Izzy's first question was,
Awesome.
are you going to make this again? And I said, yeah, I probably will make this again. But it's definitely a meal that like you got to plan in advance. To, okay, I got.
Why did she like it that much?
No, she liked it. I think.
No, but I mean, like,
no, she was asking.
why? What was her purpose in
her
asking that
reason for
question?
asking that was that it took me so long, and that it was such a time-consuming dish to make. She was like, "Are you going to take the time to make this again?" I said, "Yeah, I think this is great. I think it's really good." And I definitely want to try making it again just to try out my own little takes on it and try definitely one time doing it with tomato.
And you definitely don't have to like. It is time consuming, but you definitely don't have to be there the whole time.
Yeah, there's a period of time
like
where you can kind of let it go in the oven.
Yeah. Or if you're still doing it on a stovetop, like I just turned it on the lowest setting.
Did you do it
like
the whole time
barely
on the stove?
like yeah, whole time on the stove.
See, I had mine in the oven for about 40 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I just we basically as the sauce got really hot and like maybe started to boil a little bit, that's basically when we put the meat in and then just turned the stove on low. Like literally like less than 1. You know, there's the settings up to like 8. We had it just barely even on and just had the lid cocked a little bit to let out steam and just let it sit there for almost 2 hours on the stove. We could have let it go longer because you know you only want the dark meat for it to get nice and tender because the white meat will get too tough if you cook it like that.
See, I guess I had both in there because I had the breasts in there, and everything was very tender, very juicy, fall off the bone.
Well, that's fine. That's fine then. I mean, that's totally fine.
Hey.
But yeah.
Hey.
I'm definitely gonna try it again.
Sorry.
What?
Peter said my audio is kind of echoey. I'm not sure that I can change that.
Peter, did you get the miso? Did they get the miso?
Yeah, I'm not sure that I can change that really. I think we just have to leave it at.
Who was that? Is that Iz?
Iz came to get the Joel. Iz, can you pat me a G? Thanks, Bob. We took Ziggy to get
very nice.
Get a shot this afternoon. Sam agrees. We got the miso, but the door's still jammed. This is Sam.
What did they say about the door jam?
The door is still jammed. It's Sam on Peter's account, which makes this all very confusing. They got the miso, but the door is still jammed. This is Sam, by the way, was his comment.
Oh, very
My
nice.
audio is echoing, but there's not a whole lot I can do about that. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll fix it for next time.
So let's move on to the movie then.
Yes.
That we watched. or I watched half of.
Yeah. Shoot, I
So
wish you
I
saw the whole
did.
thing, because the end, at least towards the end.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
going
I
to
know
finish it.
but I don't. I want to be careful about what I say, given that you haven't finished it, and I don't know how far into it you are, because it's a super interesting story.
Well, I was enjoying it thus far. Basically, what I had gotten into was of clearly these are depression
Yep.
times. Um, the banks sort of closed things down because the money is pretty much not there that people want to take out. Um, so companies are making layoffs, cutbacks.
Hold on a sec.
Herman just
Right
secures.
before, sorry to cut you off. Peter said, Peter here, the doorknob isn't moving, the latch. We can't figure this out. Do you need help then?
I'll be right back. You
Okay.
entertain the people,
Yep.
okay?
I got him. Hey people, Lilo Key here to entertain you. I know I didn't do a TikTok video today, or Instagram video. I'm working on the next one to do. I still need song suggestions. If anybody's watching any of these videos that I started doing, I started last week doing a new freestyle every day to a song that's popping off right now. And I'm enjoying the process, quite honestly. I like getting back into writing and making music and stuff. It's been a rough couple of months with COVID, with everything going on, family-wise, etc. But I'm starting to get back into it, and I thought a good way to do that would be doing some little verses on some pre-existing songs. So I started doing that last week, and they're doing really well. But I need new songs to do. Alright, pair down. I'm about to go to the moon like Dogecoin. If y'all would bounce that back up, please. Because I think I'm down money on Dogecoin. Okay, that's plenty. I don't need I got my personal weed helper. Oh, thank you very much. This is disgusting. I'm gonna do this off camera because it's fucking embarrassing. You're not gonna get more? You gotta get more. No. Okay. Well, blast off.
So much for readouts doing tonight.
I didn't know that was a thing. Love you. Can you bring a jewel back when you get a chance?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't have a chance to do one today. I need more songs. Sorry, I'm looking at my status of Bitcoin right now. I'm up 18 cents. I'm up 20 cents now. Hoo hoo hoo! Making bank. This is ridiculous. What else? So I'm gonna do one tomorrow. I'm gonna do one the rest of the week. But I need more suggestions for songs. So what are some songs that you like that are out right now that either rap songs or songs that could use a little sprinkle, a little low key on it that may not have been rap songs initially? I think the last one I did was Dominic Fike's 3 Nights. I really like Dominic Fike's music. And decided to drop a verse on that song because I thought you could benefit from a little bit of a rap song. We have 42 cents. We're just doubling in real time now. Here we go. What else? Got an album on the way. It's coming soon. What was that? I don't know what that was. I don't know when.
So what have you been telling the people?
I was telling them I need song suggestions for songs to do verses on for the Instagram/TikTok videos I've been doing. Oh, also, if you're watching this, follow me on TikTok at Lilo Key Baby. Because I have like 46 followers.
Also, follow me on
Do you make
TikTok
TikToks? Have you made
at
one?
Vinifrenda. I have 2 TikToks
Hey,
out.
okay.
Yes. One of them is us running around in the woods, and the other one is us cooking and drinking.
Nice.
I think so. It's good stuff. Anyway, so yeah, depression times. Talking about
Yep.
Mank again. It's depression times. Mank works for MGM Studios, or just gets a job with MGM
He's
Studios,
kind of on retainer
and
from them. Back then, I guess it was different studios have different movie stars like on lock. Like those certain select stars only work for that studio.
studio.
Yeah.
Which is really
It's
interesting.
all so fascinating, really. The whole story. I mean, just
Yeah.
one. It's a
The way the industry
yeah,
worked back
everything
then.
about it. Because I mean, you watch Citizen Kane, and you don't necessarily know that that was made during the Great Depression. I didn't know that, at least. Um, but just the fact that that was happening all at the same
Yeah.
time, and then the whole story of Citizen Kane is about what's his name? Just looking him up. The media mogul.
Yeah. Well. You're talking about like the
William
actual
Randolph
person, or
Hearst is the person who
yes.
Citizen
Yeah.
Kane is all about, and
Or so it's sort of
well,
loosely based
not
on.
so loosely apparently, and that was kind of the reason that Mank was made. At least it seemed like, where the purpose of telling that story was to show, like, he was the writer of Citizen Kane, was a really good friend, and even in Mank they call him the favorite dinner guest of William Randolph Hearst. So they were pretty damn close.
Yes.
And so for him to kind of go behind his back and write this story as and he's good friends with his wife too. Yeah,
Balls.
yeah. Or not, or his
Yeah.
mistress.
Yeah. Yeah.
His mistress.
I like. She really adored
Yeah,
him.
and
In the movie, it seemed.
Amanda Seyfried looks a lot like Marion Davies.
Really. So let's also the media mogul family, the Hearst family, also tied to a book by Jeffrey Toobin called American Heiress, which I read. Really good. He's the same writer that wrote the OJ versus the People that got turned into the Netflix
Okay.
miniseries. And but he wrote a book called American Heiress based on Patricia Hearst, who was kidnapped.
She was the daughter. Was she
by
not the daughter of?
might have been
Could be granddaughter.
granddaughter
Let's see here.
of William Hearst. But Patty Hearst was kidnapped by a group called the Symbionese Liberation Army in the late 70s, or the SLA. And as a political movement, they were like a political activist group trying to restore power to the people, and they were all kind of just screwballs. But they organized the largest food giveaway because the Hearst family was worth a lot of money, and they resided in San Francisco at this time. They owned like the San Francisco Examiner and things like that, and they kidnapped Patty to charge a ransom from the Hearst family. But what they did end up achieving was one of the largest food giveaways in history, where the Hearst family footed the bill for a large food giveaway to the needy in San Francisco. However, Patty ended up sympathizing with her captors and sort of like Stockholm syndrome, and she ended up actually becoming a part of the group and committing crimes with them. Even though she was originally a captor, she joined them and helped them rob banks. And the book is about like sort of the kidnapping, transformation, and then trials or crimes and trials of Patty Hearst, which is cool.
Wow.
But anyway, yeah. But so Citizen Kane, if you haven't seen it, it's a very, very revolutionary film in the industry. It's credited with having inspired more directorial careers than any other movie in history. And if you know that going into the movie and you see some other movies from the time period, the shots that Citizen Kane displays, like the different camera angles and like the reflection of the snow globe in the very beginning, when they come pan in from a window at the very outside, um, the singers like opera house and things like that. Uh, Orson Welles was doing things that people hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
It seemed to be more artistic for a director to do those things, as opposed to just the writing and the acting. It was the directing too that really set this movie apart from so many.
There's a lot of things
Yeah.
that made it.
Directing and cinematography, I guess.
And you don't really know for sure how much
but
Orson Welles did or had input-wise when it came to cinematography. I mean, after watching everything with him, he had complete control of pretty much everything he did. So one would think that his opinions and views heavily weighed upon how cinematography was ultimately done.
But he also did star in the film too, so don't overlook that. He starred in it, helped. I mean, he was a co-writer,
credited
but I
as
think
a co-writer.
Herman.
Although,
yes,
that's one of the things.
Mankiewicz was really
that's
a
what he
writer.
says at the end in his "If I were to have given an acceptance speech." So I'm just gonna talk as if you've watched the whole movie.
Yeah, go ahead.
At the very end of the movie is a news camera angle on him in his front yard, and he's asked like what his acceptance speech would have been, because he won. Him and Orson Welles won for best screenplay at the Oscars. So he essentially says in his speech he was the writer of the movie, despite Orson Welles getting a co-author credit. He said essentially like him getting his co-writer credit was the magic of the movies, and he was the real writer without anyone around.
Well, I mean, basically, he wrote it. Orson wasn't even collaborating in the time of him writing it. I'm sure, though, that he probably made some executive changes here and there.
Even if you're on
so
set,
I guess that to Orson was him helping write it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, here's a little just note thing that I wrote down when I was watching Citizen Kane. Mind you, I was high and drunk. I wrote about a man that comes into money because his parents basically sell him to a rich investor in Chicago. He takes over a paper in New York, the Enquirer, and distributes his paper all over the country eventually, even though it wasn't the best paper in New York. It was actually like a failing paper in New York at the time. And he wants to be the best in news, but isn't really good at any one thing other than talking, really, and thinks he can get good by just buying anything off. He thinks he can get people to like him, and he really just wants to use the paper to warp their perceptions of the world through news so that they will like him or like the people he wants to build up. Because he ends up basically doing a lot of... He runs stories that he cares about. It's basically his own gossip, type of thing. He wants to warp people's perception of the world, and he wants to be liked and loved, and he wants to have the people that are close to him liked and loved. Namely, his second wife, who he wanted to be a singer, despite the fact that she was not very good.
Yeah. Now, was that what's her name? Marion Davies.
Go on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
his second in Citizen Kane. Yep. and that plays Citizen Kane's or what's his name? Francis Scott Kane.
That sounds right. I forget honestly off the top of my head.
Can we fact check that real quick?
See, this is why I need Josh doing this shit.
Charles Foster
That's it.
Kane.
Yeah,
What
there
did
you go. Right.
Charles Foster Kane. Yeah, so it was his second wife.
You good? We frozen all around? Fuck.
8 out of 10 on IMDb though.
Okay. I think we're still going. Sorry, my computer froze up for a second. Can you hear me?
I said 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, I can hear you.
Nice.
Citizen Kane though, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, 100% on Metacritic, 8 out of 10
Damn,
on
IMDb's
IMDb,
Fucking harsh.
which is interesting.
Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes both give
Yeah,
it 100%.
84% of Google users.
What is it? Oh, yeah, 80,
Yeah, it's crazy.
84%. Google users
Eight-
and
eight-
IMDb users, people
Of Google
that
users.
review movies on those two platforms, are fucking out for blood.
I don't know what they're so hell bent on destroying.
Did you watch any of the awards last night?
I mean,
Golden Globes?
what awards? No, I did not. I didn't watch any.
I don't
Did
know.
Mank win any?
I didn't either, but I was curious to see if they won anything, and I would have.
How do you
Oh,
feel
it's-
Gary Oldman did?
I think he did great. I love.
Yeah,
him
he's a
as
good
an
actor. He's a good actor.
just always very transformative. Have you ever seen? Not entirely sure what the U.S. title of the movie is. It's a weird movie. I think it was released in France, but it's all American actors. Natalie Portman's like one of her first movies she ever did. Leon the Professional, or The Professional, or something else. Oh my god,
No, I've
that's
not.
a great movie. This assassin breaks into this apartment for some reason. I forget. I haven't seen it in a while, honestly. And whoever they're looking for, the assassin's played by Gary Oldman, break into this apartment, trying to take care of a hit on somebody, and the only person that's there is Natalie Portman as a child. And so they form this bond it kind of borders on maybe like sexual kind of. It's not necessarily appropriate for this time, seeing as everything's super politically correct, but it's a great movie. Both of them are awesome in it too. Yeah,
I will have to watch that. You should text me that later. For you, what would you give Citizen Kane out of 10? Citizen Kane, not Mank.
I don't know. It's such an unfair thing to review because I like colored movies. I like stuff that's modern. I like seeing stuff that part of this.
I know you do. But try to think about how different and new it was
it's
in terms of
impossible.
some of the shots. Think about the
Yeah.
writing. Think about the acting.
I'd
about the dialogue.
Probably rank it higher than Google and IMDb users.
I was
Yeah.
thinking, 9
Yeah,
out of 10
I
is
think
probably what I
that's
would
about-
put it at. 9 out of 10. Because I really love the dialogue in that movie. I think that the dialogue in Citizen Kane is awesome. It's very witty. It's in good taste. It almost always progresses the plot and develops characters. I think it's just good. Leon the Professional, yes. How would you rate Mank?
I'd say 7 out of 10. Yeah.
7 out of 10? Where do you feel it was lacking?
In the ability to captivate something who wasn't always already interested in the story. It's a super niche movie. It's black and white, almost the whole thing is done with some decently heavy filters on the lens. Like it's an old looking
Yeah.
movie, and also the audio. I love the audio. I love the way it sounds. It sounds old as hell. It sounds like a classic black and white
It
movie.
does.
But
It
that's
does.
not for everybody, and that's not at all the modern way to record audio on films. And everything sounds like it was done ADR in a like amphitheater. Just everything has this big room echo to it, even when they're outside, and it's almost surreal that it's like that because it almost puts it concept wise like on a stage. It's almost like a stage play the way you hear it. But it's not for everybody. It's not. It's trying the least to be modern or accepted or anything, and you really have to be a. It's kind of masturbatory cinema, I think, in a way, and I think to
Yeah. I mean, I loved the fact that
no,
they
I
went
have
with the
no
black and
complaints. I
white
have no
and the
complaints.
audio that they did. I thought it was really, really cool and in good taste. I did have a problem with the beginning. I felt like the beginning was a little sporadic and just kind of a little all over the place, and it didn't really have a clear like
No, but I think so.
direction
For me,
at first, I should say.
that was what kept me engaged to the point where I started to understand more about the story. Was that you have to pay close attention because everything's so seemingly haphazardly put together and just like small glimpses into this time period, then a flashback, then this, and it's not until about like halfway, 2/3 through, where you start realizing like, oh my god, this is why this is structured like this. This is why that moment meant something. This is why we're even getting a glimpse into that part of his life. Because otherwise, if it weren't chopped up like that,
Okay.
it
I
would
see
be
what you're
just a man bedridden, drinking, and writing Citizen Kane, where a lot of that process, like that's half the story. One is half the story of when he was writing it, the person that he had jotting everything or converting everything he said into written word. Orson Welles coming over and pressuring him initially before coming over, and then telling him that asking for credit was going to bury him. Like, that's all one part of the movie, but you wouldn't understand why he even wrote it or why he was in that position writing that movie if you didn't have those flashbacks up to his experiences with the man he wrote it about. Like, that's what makes it crazy. It's like, he
Yeah.
was so close to this man and was just like, yeah, this is a dying star story, and I'm going to write it.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
He's
I mean,
a
he had a
brave
good
fuck.
mind to do so, and for also the like, is that true? The whole thing about him bringing an
I don't
entire
know.
town
I would
from Germany
imagine
to
that's
save them
probably
from the
true because
Nazis?
that's an outlandish thing to make up if it's not.
I mean, that's pretty crazy.
The thing I never
And she
fully
was that
got
woman in the
was
kitchen was like,
how wealthy he was, like how successful he was in Hollywood because he drives
Yeah.
around in Rolls Royces, and then he
Like,
had
what
a
was his
$12,000
background?
gambling debt. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know
So,
his
yeah.
status.
where exactly
idea.
did he actually stand? Because I feel like you could throw a Rolls Royce
Yeah.
into that debt and you'd be
Yes,
good.
or maybe that was all part of the studio.
Seems like a very,
studio
very quick solution.
Riding him around in style or whatever. But I don't. Everybody seemed to know. I don't know. I think that's what I would need to learn more about was just that dude, that writer.
It's a cast.
What are you looking at?
The cast was Citizen Kane. Yeah, Susan Alexander was Marion Davies. Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure I was right about that. All right. Yeah, so all in all, The movie is enjoyable.
Yeah.
I'm going to finish it when we get off here and I eat my dinner. But I'm sorry that I
It's all right.
fell
Yeah,
short
it's all right.
of the
I was rushing
timeline this
around
week.
today trying to finish everything up, and honestly, finished the movie at 7:22. So there was not much time before then, and me rushing
So
over here to try and start up these programs and make sure they were working.
yeah. But I think that was a fun. It was a
Yeah,
fun
so
thing to do for the week, though.
I think once we started to establish this as like the genre of this podcast or theme of this podcast, oh shit! I just realized now that this is streaming as episode 1. It's not. It's episode 3. We're a little behind the ball. But once we start getting this going and establishing across an audience that this is what we're doing, we maybe start the week after, like, say after this podcast, then tomorrow we publish this is what movie we're going to watch, this is what food we're going to make, this is what album we're going to listen to, in case anybody else wants to join along.
I like that. I like
And
that
that
a
way
lot.
it's not such a surprise.
We should. Well, you and I can hash out the logistics of that off air, but
But I think that's a nice idea.
um,
So what happened to you this week?
I'm pretty sure my brother Sam. I'm pretty sure my brother Sam is listening to this right now, and I would really like if him or Peter would pour me a little bit of that Nebbiolo out there and bring it into my room. That would be really nice. So, go ahead and ask that question again.
What did you get into this week?
Well, this week, my brother is visiting from out of town, which is awesome. So, I basically just worked all week, working for the weekend, as they say, lover boy, and I picked up some fun wines for tonight's meal. I picked up some stuff for yesterday's dinner. Oh, there we are. I knew they were watching. I love you, my boy. I'll be out there shortly. Now, this is the Nebbiolo we're cooking with. We have 2 Nebbiolos that are nicer that we're going to go with dinner tonight. But my birthday is in 20 days, but we're doing a celebratory dinner this evening for it. We spent all day doing a duck broth where we broke down the duck, put the proteins and bones onto a sheet tray in the oven, roasted that till they got brown a little bit, and then you put all that into a big pot, almost covered with water, and just start cooking it. And after you really draw out some of the flavors, proteins, and fat, you want to start seasoning it. We threw in some cinnamon, some star anise, celery, carrot, whole peppercorns, a little bit of fish sauce, sprinkle of salt, and just cook that down. Then you strain it all through cheesecloth, and then you have your stock that you start with, right? And then we're making a broth out of that with some miso and some shiitake mushrooms. And then the mushrooms are going to get ground up with the meat that we braise. So we're braising just the leg and thighs, the dark meat, in red wine, tomato paste, the same vegetables I described already. And that's just going to get cooked slow and low. And then, well, it's already cooked now. And then we're putting that all through the meat grinder with the mushrooms. And we're going to combine that with a little bit of ricotta and taleggio cheese to go inside tortellini. We rolled out the pasta. They're out there rolling out the pasta. We're putting that in the filling of the tortellini. And then we're doing, of course, did I say, and then like the broth we made, putting miso in that, red miso. So that duck broth is going to be a duck miso broth. And then we're cooking the tortellini in that broth and eating it as like a soup with the tortellini.
I love that. That's such a. How long is this taking you?
And then
yes,
we started it this morning, so
it's amazing what you can do with time.
But a lot of it, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You get something started, you let it go, you do other things, and you come back, you adjust a few things, for the next step. You go do
Yes.
other stuff. You come back to it. You know what I mean? It just has to be regimented and planned
that's
out.
the whole thing.
Peter stopped at the grocery store for some things after work. When he got home, I ran out to the grocery store to get a few things.
Did he have off today as well? No.
He did not, no. He worked, yeah. I have off tomorrow as well. Sam and I are going to get some food from some fun restaurants in Portland.
Oh, okay.
I took off. We're getting our first shipment of vines tomorrow,
were you
actually.
doing
I think I
something
mentioned
today
that
with
last week
them?
on the podcast. Our first shipment of vines gets in tomorrow. We were doing some outside yard work and stuff today. Somewhat in prep for the vines. Since we had that ice storm, we had a lot of brush and stuff all over the yard from trees breaking, and there's a lot of pine needles and everything. So we've been gathering up all the loose debris and other pieces of wood that we have no need for, and we're
Nice.
gonna do a controlled burn to get rid of all that, because we can't just leave debris everywhere. It could be a fire hazard and things like that. So we're getting that done before the season
So
no
rather
longer
than-
allows for controlled
Rather
burns,
than letting
which is
anything
sometime
become
in
a fire
mid-March.
hazard, you're gonna set fire to it yourself. Smart. That's smart.
Exactly. That's right. Because then we might end up.
That's big brain.
Because right
shit.
now we can burn things down without burning everything down. If we burn it
Yes.
now, we can burn it down without everything burning. If we wait for everything to just dry out and be very flammable, and there is a forest fire, then everything
Yeah,
could
that
go
would not
up and
be
we
ideal.
lose everything. So, but yeah, we've been clearing the land to burn it, and then we're getting our grapes tomorrow, and we're going to actually put them under a tarp for the time being, because we don't need to plant them just yet. We can keep them dormant by keeping them in a
Yeah.
cool, dark place. So
Why am I having trouble here?
yeah. What's up, What's been up with you? What's been up with your week?
Not a whole lot. Just making videos, making a lot of freestyle videos. Doing a lot of that. Setting up.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing your freestyle videos.
Right.
How have they been received so far?
Each one of them is the biggest video that I've put up on Instagram so far. So, farthest reach.
Each one is
For
bigger than the
most part,
last.
it varies a little bit. It's not substantial growth every time. Some are bigger than others. That shirtless one did slightly better than the one that came after it, which is to be somewhat expected. But they're.
Everyone
it's
loves
obvious.
sex.
And I thought the song, the dude isn't wearing a shirt. I'm gonna cheat.
We've talked about this before, but I think we should get
told
into
Izzy,
OnlyFans.
I said, I will start an OnlyFans that's just pictures of my asshole immediately after I've shit. There's 100% an audience. Yeah. No.
Before
right
you
after.
wipe?
And I'd cut her in for 10% if she'd take the damn pictures and upload them. I don't want to see any of this because it's not my cup of tea. But I know there are people out there that would love pictures of dirty assholes. Yeah.
That do like it. I mean, there are definitely people. Have I told you the story of when I got asked out at a
can you
bar
wait
when
a
I was
second? I
going to
wanna
meet
hear
Brooke?
this. I gotta pop out real quick. I need to get a water.
What do you?
Entertain the people.
Okay. Well, let me talk to the people then. Hello, everyone. My name is Bapo. And if you don't know me already, then that's your loss. I like wine. Okay? And I also like vagina. Now, how, Bapo, do you drink so much wine and eat so much vagina? And I always... Oh, am I asking myself that, actually? I don't know. But people always ask me that, yes, and I always tell them, uh, some of us are born lucky, and some of us are born with heart. Luckily,
Give me 1 second.
I have heart. So, I choose to drink wine while eating the vagina because it actually gives them both a little bit nicer of a flavor. So, you drink wine, you eat vagina, and it always smells like cheese. Okay, so that was no doubt stupid. That was no doubt not entertaining, and I am no doubt going to be cancelled from that. Um, because of this, I feel it's pertinent to let you all know that I'm sorry, and I'll never speak of this again. So, not a huge fan of this Nebbiolo, to tell you the truth. It's okay.
Why?
Why? 31 degrees. And you already know that you first figured it.
The Nebbiolo is okay. It's pretty young. It's a 2019, and it's just a Langhe Nebbiolo, which means it's not really designated to a single town, although this specific maker is from Barbaresco.
Yes.
What's up? You back? So I talked about eating vagina and drinking
Wait,
wine together. So
Like you and I together, or drinking wine while eating vagina?
like
And
pairing wine with vagina,
Run that
basically.
by me.
It was very boring. I basically just did a British accent and talked about eating vagina and drinking wine. I like to do those things, and so I do them together, and because they complement each other.
You are a special man.
That's what I said. Yeah, I think we're done after that. I don't think we're gonna get any views. I gotta say, but yeah. So I was going down to meet Brooke at and she had a class or something. Brooke is my ex-girlfriend, and I went to a bar to get a drink to wait for her to get out of class or something. And this guy like buys me a drink, and he's like, "Can I sit here?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not?" And he's like, I wouldn't normally come talk to a guy in sweatpants, but your ass just looks so good in them. And I said, well, thank you. I mean, I'm only in sweatpants because I'm just going to my girlfriend's apartment and we're just going to hang out. Like, sorry, I'm not impressing you with my sweatpants, but I'm glad my ass looks nice. And he's like, "Oh, so you're visiting your girlfriend?" I'm like, "Yeah. I'm straight." And he's like, he was basically like, "Are you sure?" You know, but yeah. And I'm like, "You wouldn't like my ass anyway. It's very hairy and it's very smelly." And he leans into me and he like whispers in my ear, "That's what I'm into." And I was taken aback. Yeah, I was taken aback a little bit. But I mean, I certainly enjoyed this gentleman's conversation. And of course, like promised, I remained straight and I went to meet my girlfriend at the time. And but I'll never forget that experience. That was great. I got a free drink and I found out that some dudes really like smelly, poopy,
some
hairy
people
buttholes.
like.
So
Not even just gay dudes. That's what some people like. I can't do that. Smells get to me
But
too much.
yeah, I hate poop. I don't like girl poop. I mean,
No.
I don't want to fuck girls in the ass though.
Dude,
So
I shit today.
I don't know.
I
Girl
don't
poop
know.
is no
I
doubt
don't
worse
know.
than guy poop
After today, I don't know.
because it comes out of girls. If it comes out of a girl, it's gross. I don't care if it smells like sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah. Okay, fair. Fair.
That won you over
Yeah.
just like that.
I'm convinced.
But then again, I would way rather eat girl poop than guy poop.
Oh
Like if
my
I was gonna
God.
eat poop,
I can't.
I'd
think
rather
of
the poop
this.
come from a girl that I'm gonna eat.
This is disgusting.
Maybe it's all right.
This
We
is
should probably just call it for
disgusting.
the week. We've been an hour and 10 minutes. We did it.
All right, yes, did
We
review everything.
reviewed
All right,
everything.
So what is it for next week? We'll figure it out. We'll post it tomorrow.
We'll
Alrighty.
post that tomorrow.
Alrighty.
We'll post that tomorrow. You and I will discuss
Okay.
this.
Love you too.
All right. I love you.
Episode
We
3.
Love everybody that I love everyone that watched. I love everyone that didn't watch, which is no doubt a lot more people. And
Yes, sir.
we'll be back next week
With some new shit.
with some shit.
Let's go a little longer next week. I know I don't want to hold you.
We
too
will.
much.
I just have my dinner to get back to, and
Alrighty. No.
not that I don't want to
understand.
be here talking to you. Of course, this is
But
the
yes,
highlight.
yeah. Okay, we'll wrap it up here. All right. We out.